everyone, SoranotRoxas here, and as you can see, the light is pretty bad in here. So I don't know if I'm going to continue doing these, especially since I gotta stand up to do these sort of reviews, and I don't think I'm gonna like this too much. I'm just trying it out this time just for Metal Gear because I'm actually pretty busy right now. So I just want to get out a quick review for you guys. Quick is it worth it video. Don't worry, it's possibly gonna still be like 20 minutes or long after I finish editing it, so that really doesn't matter. So, okay, let's talk about Metal Gear Solid 5, which has to be so far one of the best games I have played for, well, 2015 altogether. And I think it's a fantastic addition to the genre and, well, to the series, and actually a stronger Metal Gear than our last installment, which was Metal Gear Rising. And of course I could talk about Ground Zeroes, but that was a demo. That wasn't a game. So anyway, actually talk about an actual game. Metal Gear Solid 5 has turned out to be definitely one of my favorites and possibly in my top 3 Metal Gear games of all time. Actually up there with Metal Gear Solid 3 and 4. There's only a couple of things that I like in 3 and 4 more, even though they are more linear. This one is more open world, and although it does work well, and this is kind of a different conversion for Kojima Productions that actually do like an open world. Metal Gear has always been heavily focused on story, been pretty linear, and you know, here it's still kind of focused on the story. You know, you still have your somewhat over-the-top dialogue, as well as some of your emotional baggage.
I can feel my leg. My arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost, the comrades I've lost, won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you? I'm the one who got caught up with Cypher, a group above nations, even the US. And I was the parasite below, feeding off Zero's power. They came after you in Cyprus, then Afghanistan. Cypher just keeps growing.
But that's a Metal Gear game altogether, so none of that's really going to change. If anything, this is kind of more subtle than the other Metal Gears. You still got some crazy things I'm going to mention in a sec, but as far as even our main character, Snake, who was actually voiced by a different voice actor this time around, who is Kiefer Sutherland. You might know him from 24. His father is actually Donald Sutherland, who plays in one of my favorite movies, The Hunger Games. I love The Hunger Games. You know, what do you expect? You know, I made a review about The Hunger Games before, so I talked about The Hunger Games a lot. I'm really looking forward to the new movie, by the way. Okay, so you have Kiefer Sutherland, who's voicing Snake this time around, taking over the role from David Hayter. So if this is going to be the last Metal Gear game, it's not a bad send-off to the character and the franchise itself. There are a total of 3 different endings that you are able to unlock, and Kiefer Sutherland brings a more subtle performance to the role. A lot of his emotions are mostly displayed through his face or through certain grunts. Kind of like how it does sort of like a Mad Max thing. It doesn't necessarily do like how the other Metal Gear games did, where there was a lot of dialogue and a lot of cutscenes, a lot of heavy stuff going on. And this one is definitely more on the subtle side, and it plays more with the emotions rather than just plain old voice acting. That doesn't mean there's a lot of dialogue. There isn't a lot of dialogue in it. It's a freaking Metal Gear game. There's going to be a lot of dialogue in it. And during the gameplay portion, I'm going to show you like all the audio clips and things like that. And those are there for you to listen to for your listening pleasure. Although you don't have to. You can completely skip it or ignore it. But I tell you, especially if you're a Metal Gear fan, it adds on to the lore. So I would definitely go ahead and listen to any of that stuff that they have there. I personally already did. So from there, you also have a couple of reoccurring characters such as Kazunea Miller, I butchered that name. It's Japanese. It's really hard. Ocelot is back. And of course you have Mother Base and Mother Base soldiers and things like that. And this time around, it's a lot more. Let me just not say a little bit. It's a lot more developed than Peace Walker was. A lot of stuff's been borrowed from both Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 4 in terms of gameplay. You can now build your own Mother Base. You can add former enemies to it and make them your allies. You can bring them onto Mother Base. They can be your security, medical team, R&D department development, any of that good stuff. And you can also make a second Mother Base, but I'm going to get into that in a second. That's actually sort of like the multiplayer portion. So I'm going to leave that for the gameplay part of the video. But for now, all you need to know is that they took the development that was in Peace Walker and they improved on it to the point where I actually like it. Because honestly, I really don't like Peace Walker. Yeah, you know, out of all the Metal Gear games, I don't like Peace Walker. Portable Ops I never played. I think that's one of the only Portable Ops and Metal Gear Acid. I think Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2, I think those was just Japanese only or something like that. I never played those, so I don't know how they compare to this Metal Gear. But more things far as from Metal Gear Solid 4. It seems to be a connection here in terms of gameplay, not in terms of story. Considering that this is a prequel actually taking place before Metal Gear Solid 1 for the Super Nintendo. And then, you know, telling the story of Solid Snake from then on there. And, of course, I think it is a definitely much stronger story here than it was in Revengeance, which I actually just recently brought. Yeah, after about 2 years, I finally got Metal Gear Rising, and it's okay. I've been playing it. It's actually down there. You know, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll possibly show it later or something like that. It's okay. You know, it's not the Metal Gear that I wanted. Metal Gear Solid 5 is more of what I wanted, which is why it took me so long to get Rising and why I stayed away from it for so long. So Metal Gear Solid 5 definitely is a game that goes back to form, and it actually does it really well. Like I said, the voice acting is pretty good. Oh man, the motion capture is fantastic. Facial animations, just the sheer movement of the characters is pure realistic. Whether in-game or just plain old cutscenes. The graphics are amazing, even on, well, the PS4, I guess it was mostly made for PS4, so the graphics are really good on it. And that's the copy that I'm playing, and that's the video that I will be recording on. Is the PS4. I don't know how it looks on Xbox, and I'm pretty sure they're pretty close. They're close. They're about around the same in terms of graphics because, you know, the Xbox One is fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with the Xbox. You know, I'm more of a PlayStation guy if you haven't guessed, but there's nothing wrong with the Xbox. You know, buy it for whatever system you want. I don't give a shit. I would recommend just go out and just get this game. So besides that. There are a couple of things that was a problem, especially during launch. I didn't get this day one. I do have the day one edition, but I didn't get it day one. I think I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it, and I pre-ordered it off of Amazon. So by the time it got sent to me, you know, this is about a few days later. This was before I got Amazon Prime, which is so freaking awesome. I love it. So this was like a few days later by the time I get it. And there was still, you know, some minor problems with the game. Some side missions will not be registered as me completing them, even though I have completed them. And I will complete like 6 or 7 in a row. I'll just go down the line, and I wouldn't notice. I wouldn't notice whether the game was actually confirming that I'd beaten that side mission or that main mission and stuff like that, and it wasn't doing that. With the main missions, not so much. It was mostly all the side missions, and there are 157 of them, so that's a lot of side missions. And you want the game to show that you actually completed that and you completed it well, and you want the points for it. That's the weird thing. I was still receiving points for it, and I didn't complete it. Well, I mean, I did complete it, but the game wouldn't register that, so I would always have the chance to do the mission over again and just like rack up points. I thought that was a little weird. Fortunately, they did patch that, and so that actually made the game a little bit harder to start getting stuff, but good thing none of the GMP that I earned, which is the currency in the game, got removed at all. So that's fine. I did want them to patch that. Another thing I also had a problem with, like, besides, there wasn't that many glitches in here. Not any game-breaking stuff that really got me pissed off. There was a couple of times when I was in Afghanistan where you seemed the majority of your time in. I would try to hide away from enemy sight, and I would get stuck, and Snake would get snuck. Sorry, Snake will get stuck. There we go. Can I speak? Snake will get stuck in a rock or beside a rock, and he'll just be running in place like this, or he won't be able to move at all. He'll just be able to crouch or something like that, and the enemy will spot me because of something so stupid. And that I hate. That I hate. That rarely happens now after a couple of patches, but if it happens, it does happen every so often. So you got to be careful of the terrain you go around. So a place like where you go when you finally unlock Central Africa, that is a much easier place to move around due to it not being such a desert-ridden land. So as Afghanistan is. So Afghanistan, you know, it's. I think I prefer Central Africa more because it's easier to move around in terms of gameplay, in terms of terrain. I have to say one of my problems is that I'm getting kind of bored of both places though, Afghanistan and Central Africa. They're very boring because it's like a barren wasteland, and then every so often you will run into like an enemy outpost, and then rarely there will be, well, not rarely, there are bases in the game, of course, that you can infiltrate and you can take full-on control on that. You can, the variations, the options that you have to go into these bases and take control, find very highly skilled controller soldiers with amazing abilities that you would love to have on your team. And when you see that soldier that has that really awesome ability, you're just like, oh shit, I gotta do everything in my power. Even if I get caught, I gotta do everything in my power to make sure that this guy is protected, to the point where I want to take him back to Mother Base, guy or girl in certain situations. But mostly, it's kind of weird. The female soldiers are mostly prisoners, and the guy soldiers are mostly the healthy, sort of walking around standard soldier that you see. I don't know why only the female soldiers are prisoners, but whatever. But this is the same game that basically sexualizes a certain character in here, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious. But if you played other Metal Gear games, you're used to that. You know, you've seen that before. If you haven't played other Metal Gear games, you'd be like, what is this made for, like 12-year-olds or something? You know, was this made for kids or teenagers in terms of the sexuality here? Guys, it's been in the game it's been in the Metal Gear series for like ever since the first one. Okay, so that's not new. So a lot of us older Metal Gear fans, you know, it's not new to us. You know, they've been like this. Kojima's been like this for like ever, and it doesn't change here. It doesn't change here. But yeah, going back to like the landscape in terms of where you can play as, Afghanistan's kind of boring. It takes forever to get around Mother Base if you're going whether you're driving or even going by chopper. It takes way too long. And I know it's supposed to be full on and stuff like that, but there should be some fast travel there. You need some fast travel, and you can travel a little bit faster by your helicopter, but the helicopter goes around the base, and it's like saying, oh, look at, admire the graphics, the beautiful graphics. Look, oh, we're going around the base. I don't give a shit. You know, if I want to go to the medical platform, I want to get to the fucking medical platform in like 0.0 seconds, okay? And you're a video game, you're going to have your loading screens, that's fine. But there's no loading here. The loading time isn't a problem. This is all done in real time. And getting from place to place in areas like Afghanistan and Central Africa and Mother Base, which is the majority you're going to be spending your time in this entire game, is just boring. It's boring to travel to these places. I'd rather get off the helicopter, do the mission, get back on the helicopter, wait for another loading screen, wait for the helicopter to fucking take off, wait for the loading screen. Even if you do get the upgrades for the helicopter, it still takes a while. Wait for a loading screen, go back into the same area just to go like 2,000 meters away. A place where I could drive to, but it would take for fucking ever to get to, and that's a problem. It's to the point where a certain character that's really helpful in the beginning, which is actually your horse, D-Horse, he's not really helpful later on, because once you're able to steal vehicles and other type of carts and things like that, you don't really need him. You know, I don't even use him anymore. And it's sad. I got his bond level up to maximum, but there's like no reason to use him. And sometimes if these buddies actually don't see you, their bond level will start to go down. And I don't know whether that's part of the game or whether that's just a glitch or something. It's whatever. Okay, so with that being said, that is possibly my only problem with the game. It's just that the location isn't really all that interesting. And Metal Gear has never been shy to actually put you in certain areas that you wouldn't expect a video game to go. You know, in the wilderness of Russia, for example, or in Costa Rica, you know, you wouldn't expect to be there, in the Caribbean, and you are. But even with all the other Metal Gear games, they had a way of making that fun. And I guess it's because of its more linearity. Since this is more open world, it gets kind of boring real quick for me sometimes, and I just wanted to attack a fucking outpost just to change the boredom, just to stop the boredom. That's a big problem for me, especially in an open world. Usually games that are open world contain a lot of stuff, and this game does have a lot of things in it that you can do and that you can go about doing, but it isn't, for example, like, say, Grand Theft Auto 5 level of open world in terms of, like, extra collectibles and stuff like that. And I do like that stuff, so that was kind of disappointing, and that's actually going to take the grade down a bit for me, personally. Of course, other people, oh, it doesn't matter, you know, 10 out of 10. I don't think the game deserves a 10 out of 10. A 9 may be fine, but for me, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's possibly about an 8 or 8.5. It's just sort of that. Oh, and the minor microtransactions, which are completely pointless. This should not even be in the game. It actually takes away from it more than it adds on. They're completely pointless, and no one's doing them. I don't even know why microtransactions are there. But I'll show you guys that in the gameplay portion we're about to get into in a second. So, overall, fine game if you just want to know that. I'm going to show you the gameplay part of the video right now, and then I'm going to come back towards the end of the video and say my final thoughts on it. I pretty much already said it here, but yeah, if you just want to see more, go on and stay here and watch the gameplay portion, and I'll see you guys at the end.
Hello, and welcome to the gameplay portion of the Is It Worth It? Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Yep, as I stated before, huge Metal Gear fan, huge Metal Gear fan. I pretty much played all the games. And I follow the story, like, to the T. So, yeah, when I heard that there was going to be a number 5 coming out, I got really excited for it, and I was like, I don't know if they could top 4. I mean, 4 was a pretty great send-off to the series. So now 5 comes out, and it's supposed to be the last one, and it's supposed to be the biggest send-off to the series. If you guys can't hear me, if I'm talking too loud or if I'm talking too low, I do not know right now. We'll see how this video is when it goes up on YouTube, and maybe I'll switch some settings around. So for right now, all you should be hearing in the background is pretty much nothing. Just the sound of the helicopter. And I'm going to turn the sound down in a second, so let's jump right into the game here. Okay, so Metal Gear Solid 5 is a... How do I lower the sound in this game? Game settings, maybe? Nope. Nope. That's interesting. Is there no way for me to lower the sound? Okay, so if you're a Metal Gear fan like me, you don't really want anything to be spoiled for you, and so I'm going to do my best not to spoil anything, so we're just going to keep to the side missions, and we're just going to ignore the main missions for now. As far as multiplayer goes, we're not going to worry about that either. I'm going to put that in a separate video, and I'm possibly just going to attach it to this one, more or less. There's not much there for the online, at least not right now, from what I'm seeing, so maybe I might show some of it, but it won't be much to show. It's just going to be like the Battlefront beta I talked about earlier. It's not going to be really much to go on. Okay, so...
It's a hit on the human trafficker who sent Shibani and the others to
Yeah, I forgot I had the subtitles on. So, yeah, this is part of the story here. He's just telling me about the next main mission briefing. And so we're not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to try to ignore him. And just like every other Metal Gear, there's a lot of dialogue to go through. There's a lot of dialogue in this game, just period. So there's nothing you can really do. Nothing I can really block out. They're always going to be talking. They took a back burner as far as the I don't know why there is no actual sound settings in here. Anyway, so they took the back burner to have more gameplay be more prominent in here compared to the other Metal Gear games, which was definitely more story driven, and that was mostly because they changed it around. This is actually more of a open world game now than it is sort of like its standard first, well, linear course that it was on in the original Metal Gear games. And I don't mind that. The transition from linear to open world has been pretty smooth. There's actually not much to complain about. Alright, so we're gonna take a trip to Mother Base for a minute here. And we're just gonna take a shower, get refreshed. That is my dog. That is D-Dog. Say hi to D-Dog. He's animated like really good. The animations in here are fantastic, but it's no surprise. I mean, it is a Kojima production. It's nothing you can really do. And looks like we got a new mission here. And okay, so this is the Mother Base. This is the thing that's going to feel like the military simulator. You go out in the world, you find materials, and you create different parts for your base here. And the more places that you build for the base, the more soldiers you can have on the base, as well as not only this where you have like a main base such as this one, you also have a base that's also used for multiplayer purposes. He's just like knocking them out the way. I love it. But as far as the base that's used for multiplayer purposes, it's hidden behind some type of a weird microtransaction paywall, and I'll show it to you guys in a second. So, like I said, we're just going to go here, just going to take a shower real quick, and we're just going to jump back on the plane. So let's call the plane, well, helicopter. I can't tell the difference between a plane and a helicopter, apparently. We're just going to call the helicopter back, and we're going to go ahead and jump back on, and then I'll start explaining things a little bit more. So yeah, like I said, this is your base. It's gigantic. You can go anywhere here, anywhere you want. And yes, it's all done in real time. And that's one of the problems I have with this game. It's you notice that little hexagon there? Next to the standard helicopter emblem? That means that you can actually travel to different platforms by using the helicopter. It still takes forever. Whether you're going by foot, vehicle, or by helicopter to different platforms, this place is so huge, it literally takes about 5 minutes just to travel somewhere. I'm not kidding. And it's very annoying. So, no real good fast travel system in this game. So you literally find yourself calling back your helicopter getting back on it, and then leaving, and then coming back, and then have them drop you off to where they need to, where you want to be dropped. So that's a problem, especially once you get into the main world where we're about to get into in a second. But there's just a couple of more things I just want to explain. Excuse me. Before we jump into that, after we get past this loading screen. Okay, so I sent some of my crew out on a mission. It seemed like they came back from the mission pretty successfully. No one has died. That is good. Sometimes people get sick, but it's like nothing you can really do about that. If they get sick, that's fine. We just put them in the hospital or the health department or the medical team. The medical team takes over. We're gonna go to staff management now, and now with staff management, you can literally customize all of this if you like. We got a couple of guys in the brig, a few guys in the brig, and mostly because they're unruly in some sort of way or they don't agree with Big Boss's terms, at least not in the beginning. Quarantine facility, not going to go into that. That's part of the main story, so I apologize for actually showing that. Okay, so here's all our staff, and you can prioritize whatever you want. You can add staff to wherever you want. Normally, I just let the computer just do everything. It is a lot to do. So yeah, sometimes things might go down. My security went down, for example. So if somebody attacks the base, the security is going to be a little bit lowered, but it's still at level 28, so that's fine. You know, I'm not really too worried about that. We'll just grab some more soldiers. But we basically just organized everyone, just put them in places where it best suits them. Okay, so you got your map. I already showed you that. Here's all the mother base stuff. You can do developments here. You can develop weapons. You can develop equipment for your companion. As you can see, D-Dog is actually standing right there in front of me, just watching me weirdly. You can customize each weapon in the game, pretty much. Almost every weapon in the game. Helicopter, you can customize that as well to increase the drop-off time, and that is really needed because the drop-off time takes a while too. It's like everything is time-based in here to where it takes too long for the most part just to get to certain places, and that's a big problem for me because because sometimes I don't have time to play for too long, so you're doing a lot of waiting, and that really bothers me. So that's the quarantine platform. I don't know if I can visit there. I actually never tried. And this is your missions list. These are your standard main missions here. These are the story missions, and these are the side-op missions. I think I did every last one of them. Now, when the game first came out, it had a few problems, issues, glitches that it had to deal with. Like, for example, a lot of these. You see how they're blacked out now? That means that I did them, and I can't do them again. I'm pretty sure I can't see. It always say you have already completed the side-op, which is fine, because before I would complete it and the game wouldn't register it. And it wasn't until it got patched it actually started registering stuff. But there are still some missions that are flash up here for some reason. I guess it's because you can do them again, which is fine. It will give me a perfect opportunity to showcase exactly how Metal Gear is played. Of course, and here you got the combat deployment. This is where you can send your soldiers out on missions. Keep them busy, because a lot of them do request to go on some sort of dispatch mission. So those are all the dispatch missions. This is the FOB mission I was talking about before. This is also part of like another version of the multiplayer. I'm not too really keen on these. There's nobody I really want to pursue, whose mother base I really want to infiltrate. There are some people here, but I've never really gone after anybody, and it doesn't seem like a lot of people have gone after each other either. Everyone seems to be, you know, mostly concentrated on the real multiplayer, and like I said, we're gonna get into that in a second. But yeah, this is it. And in order for you to build your mother base, the one that's used only for the multiplayer, the one that's used only for infiltration, you can. And as you can see right now, I can actually add on any platform I want due to the materials I have down there at the bottom left corner. But if you want to make more mother bases, guess what? Microtransactions. Yes, you got to purchase these coins. Konami. I'm not surprised. I am so not surprised. Nah. And to be honest, those coins are even worse in multiplayer, but like I said, we're going to get to that in a second. So I'm not going to worry about upgrading anything right now. I mostly just worry about, since nobody actually infiltrates my base at all, I'm just mostly just concentrating on the regular mother base and just kind of upgrading that. So, like you see at the bottom left, I still need more materials for this. 48,000 for each. That's a lot. So we're gonna do a lot of missions in order to level up that. You guys won't be able to see that because I'm gonna do that on my own free time. And right now I'm just in review mode. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump into a side mission here really quickly, and then I'm going to show you basically how the game's played. So let's see, what do we want? Extract a highly skilled soldier, prisoner instructions. And you can go about these any way. You can go gun-ho, or you can actually take your time. We're going to do one in Afghanistan, because there's a point I want to prove about Afghanistan. So we're going to try to infiltrate a base here. We're gonna go ahead and try to infiltrate a base because I could just show you guys exactly how it's gonna go. Alright, we're gonna try to extract the highly skilled soldier, and we're just gonna press OK on that. We can land there within the base, but it's not recommended. So we're just going to go to a place that's not too far. Alright. Okay, so here we are in the customization menu, and here is where you get to choose your weapons for what you want. I was actually on a main mission, which is why I have all these like sort of stun weapons and tranquilizers equipped, so I can go on non-lethally. But I'm going to switch back to some of the lethal weapons, and the ones in gold here are weapons that you customize. They always appear in gold or yellow. As far as their tags, to let you know that you customize them, and they always appear at the bottom of the list. So we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to equip my custom-made weapons here. Still working on some other weapons. Alright, we got all my support stuff. And what we're going to do, we're going to try not to use the deadly weapons. We're only keeping them there just in case, you know, shit hits the fan. We're going to go ahead and bring D-Dog with us. We're going to go ahead and bring D-Dog with us on this. We already have a vehicle in the background. As you can see, my helicopter is gold, my vehicle is gold, and you can select other characters here. You got some of your other mother base soldiers here that you can select and you can play as. But we're going to go ahead and play a Snake. We're going to keep him on the sneaking suit because it's just a lot easier to move around with this thing, especially the higher level it is, the much better it is. There are 4 buddies that you can take with you. You have D-Dog, who is my personal favorite. Him and Quiet has to be my personal favorite. Of course, you have D-Horse as well, who was very useful in the beginning of the game, but now not really that much, especially considering that you have a vehicle with D-Dog. Wow, D-Horse is kind of useless. Yeah, because you can get around much faster and much easier with the vehicle. Although D-Horse can definitely be used for like getting to long distances stealthily. He's not as loud as a vehicle is, so I guess that's one advantage to him. And of course you have all those little emblems that you see up to the top right corner. Those are your bond level, so depending on where they're at, the more the person trusts you. So as you can see, Quiet's is almost fully upgraded. Hers were fully upgraded, but if you don't basically hang out with them for a while, their bond level will start to go down sometimes. I've seen it rarely happen. And then you have Quiet, who is a fantastic partner. I have her also on a a tranquilizer sniper rifle here, but I'm gonna put it back to her main sniper rifle. And let's talk about Quiet for a minute. Yeah, controversial, mostly because of her outfit, and the game does try to explain exactly why she has her, well, her body hanging out all over the place. It's such a stupid reason, but, you know, it's a Kojima production. Not surprising. Not surprising it's like that. And then you have D. Walker, who I actually have on a number of different settings, number of upgrades. and he's basically the walker gear of the game. There are other walker gears, but you're gonna rarely run into them on side missions. You mostly run into them on main missions, and your version is obviously the best. So yeah, we're gonna take D-Dog with us. He has his sneaking suit on. He's set the stun, so he won't kill the enemy. There is one where he can kill the enemy, but we're not gonna worry about that right now. We're just gonna jump right into this. The animations on your buddies as well is actually very good. D-Dog is interesting because you can command him as well. If you don't give him any command, he'll move on his own. And the AI will take whatever approach necessary there is to either stay out of sight or to defend you if you're spotted. And, you know, shit starts hitting the fan. So if it gets too heavy, he will attack people and he will kill them or stun them depending on what he has. He's very non-lethal right now. So we don't have his other sneaking suit on, so he's not programmed to kill anybody, but he will distract them or knock them out if necessary. That's unfortunate. Due to a story mission, I'm actually having staff members who are currently infected with something, and I'm not going to get into exactly why, because like I said, I don't want to spoil anything for people. Alright, come on boy, let's go. Alright, so this is one of the areas that you can roam around. This is Afghanistan, and as you can see, it's a huge desert. Yeah. This place got boring to me kind of quickly, mostly because the whole desert thing. Okay, I will give Metal Gear credit. Metal Gear is like one of the only games next to Mad Max movies that can actually make the desert interesting. Every time there's something that takes place in the desert for me, whether it is a movie or a video game, unless it's done really well, I get kind of bored with it. And even though Metal Gear does it really well, I still get kind of bored with it, and apparently I can't drive, so we're crashing all over the place. We're gonna try to sneak around over here, so hopefully we won't get spotted. If we get spotted, this is totally gonna ruin my stealth performance. And wow, sorry, D-Dog. Sorry. Jump back in. Let's try to do this again. But yeah. So I was glad like another open world area actually opened up. You can actually go to Central Africa as well, which is a much better place to explore. But it's pretty much like this, an open wasteland. It's just, I guess it's mostly because of color for me. And my god, I can't drive today. It's mostly because of color for me. There's a lot of brown here in Afghanistan, and that's kind of dull. It's a lot of dull brown. And there's not much color here. Even the enemies wear like dark colored clothes, which makes sense because they're soldiers. But you know, then you get to some place like Africa, which is a lot more green, a lot more vibrant, and a lot more colorful. And I've always I prefer that over any of this. So with our binoculars, we're able to scan the area. Able to scan enemy stats, so we can see who's strong and who's not, or at least who has some good stats. I just literally lost 30 soldiers, so I'm gonna need some more. Wow, look, like for example, you see this guy, you see the stats on this guy. Okay, this is my target. I've never seen anybody with all A's like that. This is my target right there. Look at this guy, unbelievable. Now that soldier is actually a decoy. Now, if shit hits the fan, I might end up killing him by accident. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try not to kill him. There are actually a lot of good soldiers here. So what we're going to do, we're going to place a marker on him. And we're just going to do our best not to get spotted here as we infiltrate this, this base. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Okay, we're back, and once again, I messed up. So that is actually the second time I ended up messing up. So here's what happens when you die. When you meet an excellent soldier and you die before you can actually get a chance to extract him. Their stats change. Like, for example, this soldier was the one I was looking for. This was the one that had all the stats, and he still does. And then you have this soldier that didn't have good stats before, but now look at what he has. So now I do want to get out that highly skilled soldier. So here's what I'm going to do. There are certain soldiers here who were a problem for me last time, so regardless of stats, I'm going to have to get rid of them. That soldier, for example, had to be getting excuse me, I had to get rid of. That soldier was also another one I had to get rid of, because I knew as soon as I end up going for that soldier, the other one was going to pop up. So suppressors are really going to be a major thing here, and they don't seem to take the effect on the guns down too much, only because it's a Metal Gear game. Like any other game, a suppressor will actually make the gun worse. Here, it does not. Another reason why I like having D-Dog on my side is because he can actually detect enemies. And it's very worth it to have him here. Okay. So we don't want this guy to be a problem, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to extract him to get him out of here. His stats are okay. So it's not going to be like a total loss. His stats is actually the same as the guy I end up killing. Actually, two of the guys I end up killing. So we want to go back here and we want to Fulton extract him without anybody seeing. So he should be good to go. We got the stats of this gentleman here. Okay, we're going to have to take him out too. Just in case he ends up being a problem. We're gonna have D-Dog attack him. Go ahead, boy. There we go. Now what we're gonna do with him, we're gonna just take him and we're gonna put him in the latrine here. Porta potty. Put him in the porta potty. And good job, boy. Just gonna grab the materials that are around here. And this is it. This is basically Metal Gear Solid 5 in a nutshell. You know, anybody who's played like previous Metal Gear games, this come to no surprise to you. Destroying these decoys actually warrants some extra hero points, so it's always nice to have those. We're not going to go ahead. We're not going to extract that. Not just yet. We're going to first try to get rid of as many enemies as we can. Then we're going to go ahead and try to extract some of this extra stuff that I can use for Motor Base. Looks like somebody spotted me somehow. So what we're going to do is when you're spotted like this, you want to stay low to the ground. And D-Dog actually takes action after me, so he's going to go ahead and he's going to stay low to the ground. And we're going to try to take out this gentleman over here. There we go. Now this guy should come to investigate. And apparently he saw what we just did. He has no idea where it came from though. I'm going to have D-Dog go ahead and try to attack him. There we go. Now, because he screamed, we're gonna get somebody else over here. Don't know why I asked them that, considering I already know where the other guys are. They're all over there, so we're gonna have to do something with them. Alright, so I was going to kill this guy. Good thing I did. His stats are actually really good. Going for this guy too as well, whose stats are actually really good. And this guy's stats are pretty decent too. So we're going to also take him with us as well. So that's multiple enemies out of the area. We still have not been spotted. So what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to try to maneuver around, and I'm going to try to take out some of these other guys here. Now, since they're all in the cluster, that is a decoy right there. That is not a real soldier, so that's good. Now, since they're all in the cluster, there's no doubt that someone's going to spot me. Okay. That wasn't my exact idea. But what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and throw some smoke grenades. Well, not smoke grenades. We're going to go throw some sleep grenades first. And there are going to be some enemies that are going to end up coming closer. Oh, grenade! Good. D-Dog decided to stay in a perfectly fine area, so he won't get killed. Okay, so the stats on that guy actually aren't all that great. Looks like they might end up calling it reinforcements in a minute. Yep. They're going to call in reinforcements and they're actually going to get it. So what we're going to try to do is complete this as fast as possible. That's not the guy I want. Here's our target. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the target out of here. And we're going to try to leave before backup shows up. That is a decoy. While we're here, we're just going to try to grab this. And we have already completed the site up, so we actually don't even need to stay here anymore. But before I go, I'm going to blow up the, oh, sorry, I wanted the C4 here. Can I have the C4? There you go. Just going to go ahead and I'm just going to, come on, D-Dog, come this way. We're going to go ahead and blow up the comms station. And now, we're just going to go ahead and get out of here because it seems like there's a helicopter on our tail. Or at least the helicopter doesn't know that we're here. Okay, I'm doing this kind of like a Let's Play now. But, yeah, what I just did is pretty much the gist of a Metal Gear game. Sorry I kind of went quiet, but I take this pretty seriously, especially if I'm getting shot at. And D-Dog has already sniffed out an enemy. Looks like there was some enemy snipers around. There's a helicopter somewhere, and yep, there he is. The helicopter is going to be a problem. So what we're going to try to do is stay out of sight. And we might have to call Endar helicopter, or we could possibly sneak out of here this way without being seen. Hopefully we can be able to sneak out without being seen. Now, because I destroyed their comms, they actually have no way of communicating with anybody at this base, mostly because either they're dead, still knocked out, or I killed them. So I don't have to worry about dealing with that, and there it is, mission over. We can leave now. And yeah, that's Metal Gear in a nutshell. There will be certain things, such as like right now, for example, there's a sandstorm going on, which makes visibility both low for the enemy and for you. But it's much more easier for the enemy to get lost rather than you yourself. Okay, so because that base is actually kind of secure now, I can actually call the helicopter over here rather than deal with the other way. So I really didn't need to run back to the car, but I was pretty nervous about the enemy chopper. And even though my helicopter, if it comes in, it can actually attack that one, I didn't want to risk it too much. Are we stuck? Nope. Oh, I think we're stuck now. No, we're fine. Alright, so it looked like the guys that we actually got rid of before, or well, put to sleep before, are actually starting to wake up. See this guy. He doesn't know we're here, which is a good thing. His stats are actually pretty good. So go ahead and knock that guy out. And we're gonna grab you And we're gonna flip you. And it looks like the helicopter cannot land until the sandstorm is over. So we're going to wait till that ends, we're going to jump on the helicopter, and we're going to get out of here, and I'm just going to do a last sum up of the game, and then we're going to possibly jump into multiplayer. Okay, so the helicopter's here. Now I can still Fulton extract this guy, or I can put him on the helicopter. Either way, he's coming back to Mother Base with me, because his stats are pretty good, and I want him there. Alright, so you get on board, me and D-Dog get on board, and we're out of here. Successful mission, let's go. And, yeah, that's it. That's basically, Metal Gear Solid 5 Infiltration. I try to do it by the books, but it turns out it didn't go my way. And sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes it just won't go your way. There's nothing you can do about it. You're just going to have to accept it and just adapt to the situation. And that's what I did. I adapted to the situation. Whether it was good or not, you be the judge. And there you have it, everybody. Metal Gear Solid 5 in a nutshell. And what we could do is go ahead and assign those soldiers that we actually took from the battlefield. Some of them might be thrown in the brig due to, well, them being arrogant. Like, for example, this guy, like, pretty much all the high-level people we extracted have been thrown in the brig, mostly because they're, well, let's just say that they're not cooperating. Alright, so, yeah, that's it. There's not much else to talk about. That's Metal Gear Solid 5, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. And is it worth it? Yeah. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into the multiplayer in a second. With the multiplayer, it's not much there, so once you jump into the multiplayer, there is no way of getting back to the single player unless you turn off the game and start the game over. I found that kind of annoying. But yeah, you know, I mean, they're trying to make it as its own separate entity. And there's not really much there. So here, let's go ahead and jump into the online and see. So far, the single player experience has been really enjoyable. I just wish the locations were as interesting. Sometimes enemies are able to spot you from way too far, and sometimes they can't spot you at all, which is weird. It's either spot you from too far or don't spot you at all, even when you're standing up and you're not that far away. Like, you can't get too close to them. The AI is smart, so you can't get too close to them. They will find you. They will look for you. And very, very smart AI. But Metal Gear has never had a problem with their AI in terms of how the way they act realistically, in terms of how the way they move in the environment. So there's nothing really to say about the AI in that terms. Okay, so here's Metal Gear Online. This is my character here. And we're just going to go ahead and press the options menu for a second. And we're just going to jump into a game real quick because this is it. This is the free roam part of it. As you can see, there's nobody here but me. It's nothing but a wide open field. And you have the walker, which isn't as state-of-the-art as Big Boss's walker from the main game, but I guess it gets the job done. And these are really annoying in multiplayer. I mean, these are extremely annoying. Hopefully not. We might get into a game where I can showcase how annoying they can be. But okay, this is like the free roam area, and all you can do is just run around, just kind of practice things. It's pretty empty. There's literally nothing here, so there's actually no reason to even stay on this free roam area. Of course, you have your standard stuff. You have your customizations. You can do like your little loadout. I don't have many guns here, and so far it doesn't look like you can really do any customizations to them besides color. And of course, they're behind some sort of paywall. Microtransactions at its finest. So you can pick your loadouts. This one's a little heavier. I normally say with loadout 1, that's the one I customize. When you first play the game, you have a chance to pick from 3 different types, which is you can go more stealth, you can be a more tactical guy, you'll have more health, more armor, you carry more heavy weapons. I chose the stealth route. It's a little bit harder, but it gets the job done. Sometimes, because you're always going to have these sort of gun-a-hole type players, and as you can see, there's not much here as far as like aesthetic purposes, as far as just like cosmetic purposes. There's a baseball cap I can buy, but I don't want it. I'll just stay with the Scully. And like, I'm just level 4 right now. I hope there's going to be more as you unlock, as you go on, but as far as right now, there's not much there. That's pretty much all the customization is right there. So there's no way for me to do any like sort of attachments to the guns. I'm sure that's going to come later rather than sooner, as I start to level up through the game. Here you have your personal stats ranking throughout the world. This is for you to purchase MB coins through the paywall system, of course. And then you have the standard matchmaking with only 3 game modes. Yeah, there's only 3 here. That's it. That's the entire online. At least so far as of right now. I would say these game modes are pretty fun. Bounty Hunter and Comm Control seem to be my personal favorites. Cloak and Dagger is okay, but there's a big disadvantage here because one team has camouflage and they have non-lethal weapons. That's all they have. Camouflage turns on and off when it feels like it. I am not kidding. And what you have to do is get in and steal a data disk from the other team. Now, the other team, on the other hand, have, of course, binoculars, lethal weapons. They can have snipers for all you know, and they can just, like, demolish the other team. I have never seen the team who... Well, only one occasion have I seen, like, the non-lethal team actually win. And that was rare. Comm Control is a little bit different. You go to different points, kind of like how Domination is, and there's a time limit. That's pretty much it. It's sort of like Domination. Cloak and Dagger is more like Search and Destroy, kind of. And Bounty Hunter is kind of like your standard deathmatch. Kill as many people as you can. Team that reaches 0 loses, and things like that, so try not to die. Or it'd be better if you sneak around and actually are able to full-tone extract people. This is when you can, what I was doing in the single player earlier, where you can attach the balloon to their back and send them up into the sky and send them to wherever you want. Of course, this is the online portion, so there is no mother base. So going by stealth, which is what I chose, and it's harder going by this because as far as non-lethal, you only have like 1 or 2 non-lethal weapons. But as far as, and I'm sure there's going to be more as I go on, but if you're going the non-lethal route, such as I am, you earn more points. So you can actually turn the tide of battle by not killing people and actually catching them off guard. And I have been disconnected from the session. This actually happens more than what I thought it would. Sometimes the session is there, sometimes, oh, it's completely gone. I guess it's from lack of players joining or something. So we're going to try to do that one more time. Try to jump back into it. And it joins a match really quickly because there are always people playing, especially this particular mode. But then it just disconnect you for like no reason. See, like we're getting another game already. So yeah, so people might see like sort of like a downgrade as far as like going in just non-lethally, just going in by stealth, but it actually helps more going in by stealth. And we've actually were able to turn the tide of battle because we decided to go in stealthily and Fulton extract people rather than just go gun-ho. But having gun-ho players on your team that just go on full-on Call of Duty style is fine, because what they do is they can distract the enemy, which allows you to move around and get behind the enemy. This is very helpful, especially if you're going the route that I'm going in terms of gameplay. And it's harder. It is much harder if you're just going to go the stealth route, and you can't switch to lethal weapons, but your character will always be focus on that stealth element. So what we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to ready up here, and a lot of people I don't think know how to ready up, and okay, looks like we got some people, and there are already people leaving. I don't know why they're leaving. This is another problem in the game. A lot of people will join in and then they'll leave. Because sometimes, you know, it's kind of understanding, but, you know, the matchmaking is pretty good in here. It is pretty good. Balanced somewhat, depending on how many players are in the game. Alright, so we're going to go over our primary. So we got the primary loadout 1, loadout 2, we got non-lethal suppressed, and we got the standard CQC. We're just going to go with my loadout 1 because I have a lethal and a non-lethal. I always try to keep a lethal and a non-lethal. It makes it easier just in case, like I said, in single player, shit hits the fan. Alright, so we both have 30 tickets, 30-30. Gonna do a buddy link here. That's my buddy over there. He just linked up with me. So, he's the person whose back I'm supposed to be watching. I'm not really going to go too crazy with that. And I mostly try to do my own thing. So, what we're going to try to do, we're going to sneak around here. We're going to try to get out our binoculars. Hopefully there's... That guy's lagging. And if you keep the binoculars on people for a long amount of time, you can mark them, such as so. And I got an assist for that. Now, just by doing that, I just gave away my position, so somebody can actually come this way, and they can actually take me out, whether lethally or non-lethally. Got another gentleman over here. And I don't think my partner's going to be able to spot him, and nope, looks like he didn't get a chance to. Okay, you get points for marking people, of course. And there is the walker gears I was talking about. This guy is lagging pretty hard. So, it's kind of hard to spot him. He's kind of moving all over the place. And, yeah, walker gears are a big problem. Because they're not impossible to take down, but some people are just so good with them. It's really hard to get a good measure on them, and there's actually somebody who's close by right now. Damn it! Oh God! Okay, so he got lucky. He honestly got lucky because there's no way he should have. I knew he was there, he knew I was there. And I was about to say, can I spawn now? Okay, so running obviously gives away your position as well. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to keep running to a minimum. Stun that guy. Kill that guy. A bounty has been played. I have no idea what just happened. Don't even ask me what the hell that was just now. Okay, so he woke up from the stun, so I had to... Oh! Damn it, I just got hit with a stun grenade. Oh, no, 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 no! Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up! Okay, so we're back. I ended up hitting another button, and I actually ended up ending the recording there, so... we're back. I actually got hit with a stun grenade, that's what that was, which is why I couldn't move. But we're just going to go ahead and we're going to try to sneak back around. I did not get killed. I don't know why. I guess one of my partners actually ended up protecting me, which was very good of him, very nice of him. Looks like somebody ended up killing him. See, this is why you need to spot people. It's kind of like Battlefield. If you spot them, he appears on everybody's map, and your partners will be able to take him out much easier. It makes for a much easier time. Now, this map, I never played on this one, so I'm trying to get used to this, and so far it's actually pretty good. Wormholes allow you to bring an enemy from one location to another, or it allows you to bring your partner from one location to another, or it allows you to bring yourself from one location to another. Just in case you guys were wondering what the hell is a wormhole. Alright, so we got some enemies coming this way, and... Damn, he just jumped down there. So this might be risky going like this, but we're going to try to capture this guy. Ah! So it looks like the whole team was coming this way. Okay. That doesn't make it easier. Looks like they're still this way, too. So right now, who is winning? Actually not sure who's winning. What team am I on? Wow, really? I can't get a display up here? I honestly forgot which team I'm on. I assume I'm on Liquids. So, as of right now, we are losing. Go ahead and dive over this way. Somebody knows I'm here, so I'm probably spotted right now. I don't think the game lets you know when you have been spotted. Okay. Just gonna hide for a little bit, wait till it cools down. As you can see, I try to Fulton extract people. If you can, like I said, it's going to give you more points, and looks like we have lost. Not because we ran out of tickets, but because time actually expired and we had the lowest amount of tickets. So there you are. There's the multiplayer. And there's actually going to be a second round here, but we're just going to go ahead and back out. Once the game actually allows me to do so. And we're just going to go ahead and back out. We actually was missing some people, which makes it harder for us. Let's see, is it going to let me leave? Yep, there we go. Alright, so guys, there's the multiplayer. Yeah, not much, right? Yeah, kind of fun though. Kind of fun, especially when it gets a little bit intense and you're trying to sneak around and then you get caught. And so, I mean, it can be fun. It definitely can be fun, but it's on the same vein as Battlefront, which I talked about earlier. But the thing is with Battlefront, it's just the beta, and it's like that. So that's understandable. This is, you know, I already paid $60 for Metal Gear Solid 5. You know, I should have more in my multiplayer than what I got here. So definitely the meat of the game, the entire Metal Gear experience is in the single player. So that's what you should be playing mostly, if not anything. If you're just looking forward to multiplayer, I can't see you just being too excited about this. You know, possibly be just something. Maybe it might be like Grand Theft Auto Online. Maybe it might turn into its own thing, its own community, and they can just build upon that. But from the way Konami likes to do things, especially with their AAA titles, also saying that they don't want to do any more AAA titles, they don't even want to be in the video game industry anymore, it looks like. So that's kind of weird. So I don't know what's going to happen with Online. They seem to be pretty thrilled about releasing it, but now with Kojima gone, I don't know how the series is gonna fare. I mean, this is supposed to be the last Metal Gear game, and you know, it's not a bad send-off. There's actually more than one ending, so you know, you can make up your own mind on those. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the online portion. There's no way to leave, so what I'm just going to do is just end the game. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's Metal Gear Solid 5 in a nutshell. And I hope the camera is not crooked. If it is, I do apologize. You know, I'm still trying to get used to this tripod here. But it seems like you guys can still see my face, I guess. You know. It's kind of hard to get some light here, especially when your only thing to light this room is a lamp. It's just like a really small lamp, and there's like no real big desk for it. So we're just gonna have to be content with this for now. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Is it worth it? Yes, yes it is. Whether you're a Metal Gear fan or not, just like play this fucking game. But Metal Gear fans will get out of it more than anything. I have a friend, for example, who doesn't play Metal Gear, and he brought this game, and I assume that he likes it. I guess he kind of likes it. But he's like totally confused on certain things. He's like, who's this character? You know, when there's some reoccurring characters. There are some reoccurring villains that I didn't mention in the first portion. There are some villains that make a return or in their younger state before their ultimate, well, spoilers, ultimate demise in the future games. But that's if you play the future games. Well, our past games now. Future in terms of story. But besides that, the game is fantastic. Not flawless, though. And there are a couple of problems that should have been addressed, but that's fine. You know, I'm not going to hold it too much to the game. Like I said, it has a great customization menu. You can build up your base. You can build your army. It's an army simulator, and it feels like that. Okay, so that's it. It's actually time for me to go, guys, and then I got another Is It Worth It video that I'm going to be doing. It's a bit of a surprise. Okay, it's not that much of a surprise. It's Kingdom Hearts, and I haven't got a chance to do it before because I was actually recording gameplay for it, but I'm just going to go ahead and just do it now. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. Metal Gear Solid 5, go pick it up if you haven't already. Most likely you already did because this review was 2 weeks late. I do apologize for that. And this is just only the time I got a chance to do this. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.